Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bluecoats here on Actual Play. I am Strash, he, him. I'm one of the regular streamers here, and tonight I will be playing, possibly for the last time, Sergeant Dravaran of the Bluecoats. Lauren, introduce yourself. Say hi.
Yes, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. I'm at the Sturkey on Twitter. I am coming off of jet lag, so tonight should be a really fun time of potential loopiness. I'll be playing Maya, the investigator, for this potentially lost session ever. Try not to have feelings about that. Holy crap. How are you doing, Judd?
I'm well, thank you. I'm Judd, he, him, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be the next one, but I never know. I never really know. But I just wanted to, last one I thought might be, and this one I could be too, and who knows. I also have said that the past 4 cases were definitely the last case, and I literally asked to name this one the last case so that it actually would be the last case. So I think, yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is we'll play to find out, but I think there's a good chance, a really good chance. So I think you both watched the last of the last episode. Can you recap for me, because I'm hazy?
It was mind-blowing. I have to say, like, I don't always watch episodes of shows, but like I was watching this show and I was in it, and I'm still like sitting here like making popcorn, being like, "What happens next?" Or more rather, I know what happens next, and I can't wait to see this scene. Yeah, it was wild. We did a split game for about 75% of it, where one half of it was Inspector Maya Tui investigating with the help of Nogs, a rookie bluecoat, and the other half of it was a heist montage played with the core Blades in the Dark system, where Lauren got to play Rosalind, who's one of the... actually, she's not a Dimmer Sister specifically, she's the person that interfaces for the Dimmer Sisters, and I got to play Andrell, who's a thief that we've seen on screen previously. I believe Dravaran hit him with a chair. Yeah, it was wild. We robbed the Spirit Wardens, got a bunch of info, stole a crate of ghoul, if I recall, and yeah, there was betrayal and people getting shot in the chest and alarms and crimson ladies being summoned, which is a terrifying ghost that murders all sorts of people, and escapes, and it was wild there. And then there was this like tense investigative sequence with Maya finally getting a solid lead in the case, only to confront a man who is posing as a barber, to find out that he is an Imperial assassin, and moreover, we have been chasing red herrings. So we are out of time and up to our neck in problems, and making some headway, but not fast enough. And that's kind of where we end up, I believe, at the end of everything. Judd, Lauren, do you have any details that I missed?
I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. And I think that is the Imperial assassin, is that Dr. Voron Tyrconnell?
I think so.
Okay. And Cavell Grine I have as an Imperial Whisper, but I'm not sure how that person came into
so that individual was the person that scratched out the good doctor's essence,
right,
soul, whatever.
Got it. Good.
Did the particular surgery that made him impossible to trace.
Good.
Rewatching episodes, so useful.
Cool.
I just want to pause a second to say how grateful I am that this tech exists in this day and age, because holy cow, we were talking about this just before game. Like, there are so many games from my past that I would love to be able to replay like specific key moments and just like watch it. But when you rewatch the whole thing, it's not even the key moments. Like, the key moments are great, but like it's a lot of the subtle stuff that sometimes goes under the radar, like little throwaway comments that like show up later and stuff like that. It's just that's wild. All right.
Yes, agreed. Cool. So this episode starts with the camera on a Death Seeker crow who has already ID'd a body uh, of no one of consequence and takes a roundabout route around Duskfall before getting back to the rookery above the crematorium. And it stops where the first case ended, the ghoul case. So it takes a kind of a wheeling flight through Rowan Tower, and we see familiar spots from the end of that case. And then it goes to the Queen's Killer case. The Wizard's Jar case. So it takes a sweep into the under canal through a tunnel and goes past the Archive of Echoes, which is now warded with new technology by the Spirit Wardens who have taken it over. And then it takes flight again, narrowly avoiding a raggedy cat, and gets a good kickoff and flies up into the air and wheels across Duskfall down to the southeast where Unity Park is, which is where they talked to the Imperial Assassin from the Queen's Killer. And then it kind of wheels around, not sure where to go yet, right? Because the end of Rorik's War is a weird one. So it flies by the burned out crater that was the Saturnalia Club, and we see that there are Spirit Warden tape all around that place, and the salamanders haven't been allowed to go in with their axes and just take this decrepit burned shell of a building down because it's an absolute mess. And maybe we even see that there are some Spirit Wardens in there with their brass and steel armor, going through it, trying to see if there are any occult artifacts. And then it kind of wheels up from there. And is the end of Rorik's War the Saturnalia Club, or was the end of Rorik's War on the docks where the Hive was indicted? And so it kind of flies out, and we get to see the docks and the bit of the Duskfall Bay where the Hive's galleon is still docked, but is under Imperial edict. And then I think we come back to Drav and Maya. I don't know. I picture a very of the most Drav Maya moment I can imagine is Drav running excitedly to buy street food, and he gets these fried or grilled octopus bits, and he offers one super excitedly to Maya, who passes, and he shrugs and eats both of them. And I think we get there as he's tossing the sticks away. And that's where we start.
All right.
What's next? Oh, and the other thing that we're seeing, I think one thing we definitely noticed as this Death Seeker crow was wheeling around, is that the sky of Duskfall is dotted with skyships, and there is a new ship in the harbor, and the Emperor has landed, which we knew from last episode. But White Crown has its own makeshift lightning barrier around just it, and and Bowmore Bridge is has been fortified with sandbags and Imperial Marines, and is a mess. Is a mess with more personnel. So that's where we're at. What's next, investigators?
Good question. Because last I saw on the stream, we were trying to find ways to kind of bait a particular someone out into taking action through keeping Cavell in like the tower. Is that still a thing we want to pursue, or should we just jump straight into like, oh my god, the Emperor's here?
I mean, we can cover whether that worked or not. It may not. I know that we did put the Imperial assassin behind bars in Iron Hook, right? Like that was the play. But
yes, yeah.
We were trying to do that back when we thought that he was still going to be the person utilized against the Emperor. And one of the things that we... Cat. All sorts of problems today.
Cat interruptions.
Yeah, she just woke up. She had a long nap, so unfortunately now she's like, play with me. I'm like, not now, Cat. We thought that if we tried imprisoning him, whoever needed him for the plan would come down from on high and rescue him. However, one of the things that he pointed out, and also the Squid Cult pointed out, is that there is a good chance that everything that we've been investigating has effectively been a decoy, right? Like, it is the thing that is going to use up all of our resources so that the assassination plan can go forward. And in that case, he is an unimportant pawn that can be easily replaced and or has served his purpose, in which case, chances of him being rescued are slim. I'm guessing. Judd, tell us if that is not the case.
I think that's a good bet. I feel like that's a reasonable conclusion.
Which unfortunately leaves us in a very awkward and precarious position, which is, Lauren, I have no idea how to proceed.
No, same. Outside of going to the Lord Governor's office and be like, we know it's you. Like,
we do know that it was the Lord Governor who commissioned the assassin to go and work with the person that set up the bait. So clearly the Lord Governor's office is signing for this dude to do the distraction. So we know that the Lord Governor is involved. I don't know if he's necessarily definitively proven to be responsible. But you don't kill the Emperor solo, usually. Like, that's... there's probably a conspiracy, there's probably a group of people, but... Yeah, do you have... I don't know how we play this. Like, do we play this as, like, a bodyguard moment? Where, like, how do we convince the Emperor, like, hey, it's cool that you have people that are genetically engineered to bleed Quicksilver, you know, or whatever. But perhaps you will take this mere Bluecoat ex-street person as your bodyguard. Like, that's, you know. Or perhaps if this investigator is at your shoulder, she'll spot someone in a crowd when everybody else fails. Like, it's a tough pitch, right? Like, I don't know what angle we go for.
At least, like, we'd slip the head of Kotar at the Emperor to be like, well, we could use this to help you out.
It's a very dangerous play.
I know it is.
I understand Kotar and the Emperor did not get along. It could easily get you executed if you simply say hi. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, right? It's like, I remember from the last session, even just having the hand of Kotar on one's self is enough to, like, let people know that you're a very dangerous entity.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to play that. Unfortunately, Drav has very little experience with hiding whispers in front of emperors.
Yeah.
Like, there are probably things that can dampen it. Like, we could try and figure out if we can contain it in some fashion, even for just a couple of minutes.
I had a similar thought. I used to go to the domesticists and be like, hey, could you have like a spirit dampening glove or something fashioned before we
some sort of
do this? Yeah, totally.
A series of silver and gold chains wound about your body carefully. I don't know.
Some kind of weird thing in like a fake cast, maybe. I don't know.
So let me ask you this, Lauren. You're actually more of an expert on this than I am. What does this chapter of the book or this episode in this show look like? Like, Sherlock has just discovered that all of the clues, you know, he's been chasing are red herrings. Now what? What's the play?
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. If it were a book, right? It's like that would be a Reichenbach full moment, with a
Exactly.
yeah, where you have like I'm going down and I'm taking you with me with the hand of Kotar, kind of like kind of deal.
Okay.
But I don't know if we want to play into that. I'm fine with that. Sort of going into that kind of extreme.
I think that's fine. I think I'm actually okay with the us watching at some sort of distance and or intercepting if there's something going on. I'm a little worried if I don't know. Do we pursue are we stirring the pot? Are we looking at an investigation? Do we sit down and maybe you make an observe roll. We take a look at those plans and we try and figure out how we would assassinate the Emperor and maybe try and intercept. Our other option is to try and play. See, the thing is, I don't think that we could just sneak into the Lord Governor's mansion and find clues all over his desk, right? It's a little too contrived, maybe. I don't know. Do we still keep chasing the leads that we do have? Well, we don't really have any more, I don't think.
No, that's the tough thing. It's there are other red herrings or we don't have any. So it's chasing down the leads we have might just waste more time.
Yeah.
Also, I see a note in chat that Strash's audio is noticeably quieter than Judd and Lauren's.
Oh,
yeah.
I can attempt to fix that. Give me just a hot second. Thank you for that, chat. One sec. All right, we'll try this. Chat, let me know if my audio improves any. Yeah.
It's so rough too, because if you go to the Emperor and they're here are the plans, someone's gonna kill you, but we don't know who or when or how. It's gonna be well, you're I shouldn't your job.
I don't think that we are terrible at our jobs. I don't think that anyone could have necessarily done better, but this is one of those cases where you're Mr. President, I believe that there is a credible threat to your life. Please do not come here. And the Emperor's what would it look like if the Immortal Emperor didn't show up on schedule? Who exactly am I scared of? Ghosts and goblins? I'm no, somebody's trying to kill you! I was well, that's why they call me the Immortal Emperor. Yeah, I don't know what the play here is. I'm a little stymied.
So I feel we could work backwards and try to figure out how someone would kill the Immortal Emperor. We could you've already talked to the assassin once, but you've got an assassin who you can talk to.
She was my first resource.
Right. The other person who knows a lot about early history of the Emperor is sugar.
Skurlock?
This is an old name. Well,
or the professor at the university from episode 3 or 4.
The Ghoul Case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a possibility. So, yeah, Skurlock is definitely the more dangerous of the group, but...
This is super dangerous, Lauren.
I do.
but I think we have a card to play to go and talk to the Emperor.
Oh yeah, what is that card?
I think it's called a Case of Ghoul.
Oh dang.
Oh shit.
Because I don't. Okay, my guts.
Oh dear.
What just happened? Someone's
Sounds like a fire alarm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to mute it. It's okay.
Game is too hot to handle.
All right. All right. So here's the thing. Very dangerous because of your hand. Maybe we flash back and spend a coin to get you something to mask it at or whatever. But I think it's or I don't know. Maybe you just flaunt it in his face and you see what happens. But I think that this problem is much bigger than a single individual, right? Like, it's not an assassin who's basically like Deadshot from DC Comics who's like gonna kill the president or whatever. Like, we're talking about a systemic action that has the governor, the spirit wardens, possibly the army involved. And I do not 100% know, like, I don't know that you and I are going to be able to find sort of like all the widespread corruption throughout the system. So I think that maybe we just put in front of the Emperor and we say, like, look, you're in a lot of danger. I don't know exactly from which vector it's going to hit you. It's probably going to hit you from multiple vectors. What do you want to be the play? Do you need, like, a body double? Like, do you need, like, we are doing our best, but, like, we're out of time. So, like, I don't know, big man. You've handled this probably more than us. Now what? And maybe he says, let me handle the security. You keep investigating the case. But, yeah.
Good plan. I'm done with it. That sounds good.
All right, Judd. We're gonna see if we can set up a meet with the big man. Is it
Awesome.
is your fire alarm still going off? All right. Do you need a couple minutes? Do we need to take a break? Like, is it no?
No, I think we got it. I think we got it. We're good.
Right.
Yeah. You how do you do it? How do you request an audience with the Undying Emperor?
Who was the commander lady that stepped us through the whole shenaniganery last time?
Oh,
yeah.
good question.
Actually, no. I know
She
exactly
is-
what I do. I get a pneumatic tube together, and I write the request very politely, and I put it inside a golden tube.
Awesome. Awesome. Hold on. Let me find that document. For some reason, my
Because I know the Emperor reads our reports, right?
yes.
So I'm just gonna put it in an official report. We humbly request an audience. You know. I'm not trying to hide anything, just
Cool. Awesome. So whereas that pneumatic tube might have taken days to reach Imperial City, as it went to the Lord Governor's office and was transcribed and then sent on a train by Imperial Courier, it takes less than an hour to get to the Undying Emperor when he is half a mile away. The reply comes in a new type, it comes in like the Emperor's own canister, right? So and I think two of those come in. One goes to you and one goes to Chief Investigator Colburn. And it thuds into place. And I think she gets it and starts reading it and walks to your office as 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 she takes it in. The Undying Emperor uh, will meet with you, and will do so at the top of the Justice Tower. And so from the top, you all walk the stairs up to the Justice Tower. Last time you were up here, you fought Lady Rowan and her conspirators to a standstill, and it was a bloody, disastrous mess. Now you watch a skyship wheel away from the others as and you notice that, oh, they're in a protective formation around one of the skyships. And the whole thing shifts so that the new center of the Empire is the Justice Tower. And you also then watch white goatless carriages spill out over the Bowmore Bridge, and you can see them. It's a dozen, and they cordon off an area in Six Towers around the Justice Tower, so that for 5 blocks people just can't get in. And they're all in these white and gold Imperial Marines outfits. And one of the skyships comes in low, and ropes drop, and Imperial Marines belay down, and they drop, and they've got on chest harnesses, a couple of them have Sevrosi Terriers, which are these specially bred dogs with green teeth who can bite ghosts and smell them. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They're good doggos.
They're very, yes, they're good dogs, as all dogs are. And the dogs drop and go to work, start smelling, and they just go right by you without a word. And then and they're all in white and gold. And then the Quicksilver Guard are the next to belay down, and they are in black and silver, as you know from dealing with Telsius. And I think Telsius steps next to you and steps between you, and watches with appreciation, watches with a critical eye towards his squadron's descent. And the last 3 people to belay down are the Emperor's 2 main Quicksilver Guards, and the Undying Emperor himself, who's in a bulky, ornate, brass and steel polished version of the Spirit Warden armor. And he has a mask, like a Whisper mask, but with, a very human face. I think I described him as kind of like a Prussian general mixed with a necromancer. I will stand by that. I'm not going to do any better than that description any day of the week. And he definitely takes notice. So how did you mask the arm? Or did you? Are you just flaunting it?
Oh.
That's the first big question to how this is going to react.
I feel like hiding it is maybe a good play. What do you think, Drove?
I cannot guess what Maya wants to do. Like, it is definitely the smart play. It is definitely the safe play. It could be slightly misinterpreted if the defense isn't good enough. But
yeah,
I think that I don't know. I think it is. It's possibly the smart play. Like I would recommend it, but like we're both playing reckless characters at this point, so I don't know.
I think based on the conversation with Cavell, like he was just so like, oh, I see you've got the hand of Kotar, and that was quite worrying. So I think based on that conversation, there probably was like a quick visit to like the Dimmer sisters or something to get like maybe some kind of cast or maybe she's wearing this sort of like fine sort of gold chain around like her arm there over a glove. Cool. Blended in with the other Sivarisi warding charms.
Cool.
Okay. Do we need to like flashback to do that, Judd, or is that just like a thing?
No, I'm actually going to say that that's for that is a 4 stress.
Can we do a much fewer stress flashback by spending 8 coin to do a downtime action to acquire an asset?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Because I happen to have a shit ton of coin.
Yes.
I would like to spend one of them now. So I think I do that.
Do we see a scene of Drav shaving a piece of gold off of a
Nope.
a bar?
Nope. He just puts a bar down and says, "I need this yesterday."
Oh shit! Nice. Done. Yeah, I think it's even nicer than that. I think it's like a Savrosi charm with a like electroplasmic device to make it more potent.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we see like a vial of Leviathan blood, and we know that like as things get worse, like it'll deplete, so that we have that critical moment when we know that it's gonna fail at some point.
Yes,
in the episode.
definitely.
Oh, damn, Strash, holy shit.
Setting up their devil's bargains, yo.
Yeah.
It's got my Kotar clock. I can see it coming now.
That is good. I'm setting up that clock right now.
I'm very excited for this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Got it. Cool. I've got that clock up. Ward fails. Kotar. Obvious.
This is a fine clock. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Make a risky standard observe roll, Maya.
Ooh, okay, cool. Boop-de-boop. Risky standard. I'll just go ahead and whack down 4 dice. Oh, it's a 6.
Cool. Yeah. You notice an interaction between Telsius and one of his guard where they give like a hand signal, and you're like, oh, it's just they have like, of course they do, they have like a hand sign so that they can talk to one another. Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. And you see that he went from a very heightened state of like, I'm going to have to move to a much more relaxed state. To the point where you're like, was there an imminent danger to the emperor nearby? Like it doesn't make sense how heightened he was. Like he was ready to go. So yeah, and like he got called back by one hand gesture. And you're not sure where he was about to go or what he was about to do or what. But he was about to spring. And you've seen him spring. Like you've fought alongside him. You've literally fought a demon, beside him. So like you know him a little bit. And like you've literally like had conversations with him while taking vials of blood out of his arm. Like you've so you know that like it went from go time to okay, we're good.
Interesting.
And the Emperor says, Commander Telsius, is the tower ours? And he says, and he falls to one knee and says, Undying Emperor, the Justice Tower is yours. Well done. And then he turns to you two and says, I hear there is a conspiracy against my life.
I think Drav just like politely gestures in the building and says, do you want to have a seat and talk about it? It's not going to be super brief. This is all very impressive, but not conducive to a conversation.
Let's go. And like he walks with you, but then like,
oh no, he walks ahead of us because we would not deign to try.
Right.
Or at least Drav would never.
The weird thing is that how much moves with him. Like it's just this procession of like people going down hallways and flushing things out. And somebody went into your office before you got there and said and like gives Telsius an all clear symbol. And yeah, he and you walk in, and like the Emperor looks around like, oh, this is where the reports come from. Like you can see that look. And like by the time you guys get into the office, he's like walking around the perimeter and like looking at the boards that you have up and the notes you have and all of it.
Okay.
I think Maya perhaps even tries to like fall into step with Telsius while this is happening, while like they're walking around the office area, and just sort of cocks an eyebrow at him and just like, you seemed quite nervous back there for a moment, Telsius. You quite all right?
This is less secure than I'm used to. I'm all right.
Well, I can assure you that we will do our utmost to see the Emperor's safety during this visit.
Thank you.
I think like Maya slips away from his side with a look, still not quite sure what that was about.
Matter of fact, and I think like when he says thank you, he turns to you and grabs your hand and like shakes it and like he grabs the Kotar hand and like touches it and like looks you in the eye like, yeah, I know what's up. Like he was there when you put it on. Like and it's just a moment and then it's gone. And I think the Emperor calls over, he says, Chief Colburn, what is your assessment of your investigator and liaison's work? And she says, I think I've watched their reports. I've been talking to them throughout the process. I think they've done exemplary work here. I think they're digging into something beyond what we're used to, and they have managed to dig past all of the red herrings and get to what's real. And he says, thank you. You have... The inspectors can be a difficult bunch to lead. Your leadership has been appreciated. Imperial City has taken notice. And she says, thank you. I will speak to Inspector Tui and Sergeant Iran now. She gives a proper bow and takes a step back. And you in a weird way, you have like a glimpse of his life. Like, he couldn't just walk into this room and talk to you without talking to the chief. That would have been a slight, right? Like, he has to talk to your boss before he talks to you. And like, there's this weird moment of like, oh shit, he has to navigate this stuff all the time. Like, of course, like if he had just not talked to Chief Colburn, it would have been an insult. So yeah, Chief Colburn like nods to both of you. Like, I believe in you. You've got this. And the Emperor is looking over the board you've got with names and such.
Very surreal. Oh gosh, this does feel like a dream.
Dr. Voron Tirkonol. He is an Imperial agent, is he not? How is he swept up into this?
The Lord Governor, I think.
Very well. Would you need the paperwork that goes into activating an agent like Tirkonol?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Learn. I don't know. Yeah, like at this point, we're digging for grubs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to not be. I was like, how do I play this cool? I don't think you can play it cool with the undug emperors around. Yeah. I think like Maya like nods and says, well, it would certainly help our case if we could have such paperwork. We've been looking into him.
Like among the troops who are like moving and with him, one of the soldiers, one of the Imperial Marines is a secretary, and he is on a state-of-the-art typewriting machine. I mean, the ones that you have are like these big black monsters that like the only thing they could possibly type is like City Watch paperwork. And he's on this little sleek thing that is like, it's like yay wide. And like the Emperor looks at him and nods, and he like types 90 words a minute into this sheet and hands it to another clerk, Imperial Marine clerk, who puts it in one of these gold and red tubes, and thump, it goes up to Lord Governor's office. Here. Yeah. And he says, that will be all of Viren Torkonol's original paperwork will be here within the hour.
I think Maya looks like very impressed with that. He gets like this, like the sort of, she blinks several times as she tries to comprehend, like, holy shit, like, imagine how much quickly we could have solved this case if we'd had a gold and red tube. And like, it's like,
it's a thing that has to get added to the mandate sheet. Item golden red tube.
Yes.
Like 5 charges. I think Drav does something that only Drav would do, which is he goes, oh right, and he pulls the case out from under the desk and just sets the case of gold down and goes, we owe you this. And he taps it twice and he says, it's from the first case. It's the one that was missing.
The room goes very still. And he looks at it and opens the crate with his hands and says, "Where did you find it?"
The spirit wardens had it.
Interesting. They had a security breach recently.
Drav tries to look as innocent as possible.
Maya does look innocent because Maya wasn't there.
Drav just looks at him and says, perhaps that's how it got out. Like, he says, one of the advantages of liaisons is that we know the streets, and we know where to find some things. But that is where it came from. I think that you can understand now that we are out of our depth.
What do you feel your options are?
Maya?
Oh. As they pertain to this particular situation, I don't think Maya knows quite how to refer to like the Emperor, or she's forgotten. Excellency. Well, can see a couple of options. And of course, I'm more than happy to pick whichever one gives you the most peace of mind, Your Excellency.
I am not immortal because I have peace of mind. If you need to worry me, worry me.
Well, we've spent the past weeks or so leading up to your impending arrival looking into every single last thread of this case. And of course, I think it's because we wanted to follow the way things ought to be done around here that has led us to the situation we're in, that being outside of these plans we have. I think like they're like sort of puts a hand on the stack of papers or whatever on the desk. We're not entirely sure who or what or when things are going to happen.
I think Trev crosses his arms for a second and just looks and says, what we do know is that those plans were contrived to fall into our hands.
Indeed.
But there are 3 facts that we do know. One, he taps the crate. He says, this clearly indicates that there is some breach of trust in the spirit warden end of things. The paperwork that we're waiting for from the red and gold tube indicates that there is some breach of trust at the governor's mansion. And these plans, and he taps the plans, maybe, actually he says, are fake. But in order to understand them, the clue that we like, what our investigation yielded, somebody would have to have contacts at the highest ranks of the Admiralty, like basically the Army and Navy. Which means that there are very high-level players that are interfering not just with our investigation, but basically control, like, avenues of research. Like, this is much more than a single gang or a single individual making some sort of plan. They were not just careful enough to make a plan, but they were careful enough to create a plausible red herring that has thrown us off the scent of anything that could be construed as the truth. Now, I know that it's not likely that an emperor will change plans, and that there are reasons that you're here, and that you're here now. but we are out of time. We do not have time to start from 0 position, and I at this point, you probably understand the players and the context of these actions better than we do, because to me, this is something I cannot even conceive of, whereas to you, it's probably used to deal with every day.
Well done. Military coups are a professional hazard. Comes with the territory. Did a name come up in particular? If you were going to investigate the military, and I'm not going to ask you to do that, but if you were, where would you start?
I'm sorry about this. This episode was a little while ago. It was almost like 2 months ago at this point.
Yeah.
I believe that we talked to a lady admiral on the boat that's in the bay, but
Yeah.
we made rolls and we believed her to be innocent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's all I recall. So like, we did our due diligence, but I don't think we got any names further than that, did we?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because it was down to like sort of her and the Lord Governor, and so we were like, well, we better exercise all the options before looking into him.
I'm actually going to say a different name. I'm going to look at him and say it was because like I believe there was another woman from the military / admiralty, and
Is it Faye Tippleton? Is it the one? The director of preservation.
Oh, that's a good name. But the person that I'm thinking of is the lady from the Rurik War case. It's the woman that trained the assassins that was working with.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that she was working really closely with the governor. That case had a lot of squirrely leads. I think that if I had to pick somebody to look at that wasn't the Admiralty lady that we actually kind of vetted to some extent, right? Like, we went there, we asked her some very pointed questions, we stared at her real intently, and we came away feeling like she was pretty much innocent, right? So, like, I feel like if I had to pick any other, like, I don't have a lot of clues, and Drav is 100% upfront about this. Like, the Emperor just said, do you have any names? And Drav says, there is a stink about, and he just names the woman. He says, I can't give you a lot, but she worked real closely with the governor. They put us on a case that they refused to get a mandate for, and something about that, like, if I had to start an investigation on somebody that I feel suspicious about, that is a person. I don't know. I don't have any proof. I don't have any clues other than suspicions based on some suspicious actions of the past. It's guesswork at this point. We're throwing darts at a board.
He looks at Telsius and says, have her brought in. And Telsius goes to 2 guards, and they walk out to go to work. Next steps. I will be meeting with the founding families. Is there anything I should be watching out for?
Oh, it's so hard not to be snarky right now. I think we even do see Maya like have to swallow that kind of spark that's like, oh my god, like
you mean other than the usual, like everything,
everything, yeah.
I think Drop gives her the look, like he understands.
I think once Maya's like got the urge to laugh like under control, she's like sort of clears her throat and says like, well, it would be prudent to assume that they aren't particularly strong fans of yours right now, Your Excellency.
Our relationship is complicated by design.
As to the specifics of what to look out for, again, I'm not entirely sure. However, I mean, it does not take a genius to figure out that they're the ones who potentially may benefit the most if such an unfortunate plan were to be executed.
I've got a clue from case one, though.
Do it.
I will point out that the McClellans were working with Iron Hook Lady and the military in the first case. They also had a case of Ghoul, even though they gave it up. And they have a number of people in Bluecoat positions of power. The other person that I would look for is... Whose kid got killed over that case of Ghoul? Was it Dunville or Strangford?
Bowmore.
Oh, Bowmore, yeah.
I will say, hey, this is a much more... Like, I say, like, I know that in those circles, plans tend to be a bit more calculated. But in terms of my level of the street, I know that Bowmore lost a son over a case of Ghoul. And, people's hearts do strange things when they lose a child. I wouldn't accuse him of anything, but I'd just be careful.
Telsius, let's put extra eyes there. He says, yes, Your Excellency. And he like steps away to like go deal with that. That's good. That's very good.
Yeah,
Well
I got
done.
nothing else.
He believed the Lord Governor was this close to firing my dear liaison.
If he had, then I would not be able to point out that he is a mean SOV. What's the quote from The Wire? What does not come at the king and miss? Or you better not miss. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Awesome.
God, no, I had thoughts, so I've got to do it. I think Maya does like give the Emperor a kind of pointed look and says like, how close is your relationship to the Lord Governor?
I put him in charge of a vital part of my empire.
That I imagine requires a lot of trust or...
I believe he is someone who can get the job done.
You're not wrong there. Is there anything else we can do to help you prepare for your meeting with the founding families?
No, you've done more than enough. I believe we'll be safe. Surrounded by my Quicksilver Guard, I don't think they have anything that can give me any problems. Continue working the case. The paperwork on the good doctor will be here. It will be a lot to go over. So take it in. See what you can find.
Of course.
It wouldn't... I'm not going to bog these things down without a hypothesis, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
I know, please, if you have a hypothesis, you're welcome to share it.
No. No, I am not an unbiased observer on this one.
Well, I would forgive me if I do speak out of line when I say so, but I find it is quite impossible to be unbiased in situations such as these. Everyone knows someone, everyone's got a stake in everything. This city is very interconnected.
I think something to keep in mind if it comes out of the Lord Governor's estate is that there are a lot of clerical hands that move a piece of paperwork that moves an Imperial assassin. With that said, we'll see where this conspiracy goes.
Indeed. Well, I do hope you enjoy your encounter with the founding families. I can't say I've never particularly delighted in their company for extended periods, but I'm not from here.
I understand. Continue the good work. And I think he turns and goes.
Okay.
And I think there's kind of an exhalation from the room. There's a moment
I was actually about to say, Drop exhales a breath that he didn't realize he was holding.
Yeah, but I think it's you and Chief Colburn and Maya who are left. Telsius walks up with him, and I think all of you. Holy shit!
I'm glad I got a haircut before I met the Undying Emperor in person.
+1, Lauren.
Oh my God. That might be my first in-game barber experience. I don't know.
It felt very authentic.
Good. I've been. It's funny. I went to the barber today, but I've been going to an actual barber who puts a hot towel on your face and the whole deal about once a month. It's a wonderful bit of self-care that I recommend to everyone. And so anyway, it felt authentic because it's been part of my regimen for the past 9 months, and it's really lovely. So
awesome.
Yeah. If for whatever reason my barber ends up seeing this, I do not think you are a psychotic Imperial assassin. I think you're lovely, and there's not a judgment on you, Chris.
Things gamers think about on occasion. This is a lovely experience. I wonder if he is a psychotic Imperial assassin.
Yeah. Don't take it as a judgment. I wrote a story about an ogress once, and I showed it to my mom, and my mom was like, "You think I'm a monster?" And I'm like, "You're not the ogress. What are you talking about? It's not all about you, Mom. Come on." She was like, "You think I'm a monster?" I was like, No, I don't."
Oh, wow.
So it's funny. Anyway, so I don't. Anyway, yeah. She says, "If you need anything, you know where to find me." And then I think you two are left alone for the first time in a while.
I actually ask her a question as she's leaving. I say, "Hey, Chief, you ever regret taking this job?"
Not yet. Not yet. I think the only thing that might be able to make me regret this job is if I had to do something like try to bring down the Lord Governor, for instance. That might be real difficult. Good luck, you two.
Appreciated.
I think as she steps out, Trav goes, "I don't think she heard the part about the army or the spirit wardens as well."
Why do you regret taking this? Do you regret taking this job, Drav?
Oh, look, the paperwork. Actually, I think Drav's response is flippant but guarded. Something like, "Hey, how else would I be able to afford meat pies?" But there's like just a little bit too much of a hint of pain in that joke. So yeah.
So you hear Lewitt outside asking someone a question, and then you hear him you hear someone in native Severosi cuss him out, and like a bunch of other people laugh, and he's like, "What?" And like then there's some more laughter, and like it's going on like in the at his desk, which is outside of your office.
Lewitt is the guy that's our secretary effectively right now,
yeah,
right? Like
he's your yep okay. He's your admin. Yep.
I guess we have to check this out.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought Maya will definitely pop her head outside the door to get a look at what's going on.
Yeah, there are 8 Severosi Imperial messengers in like Imperial livery. They're all like long-bodied marathon runners, as if like if they had to run to Imperial City along the tracks, they'd give it a go. Like they'd probably die, but they'd give it a go. Like that's what they're built like. And yeah, their lieutenant says, all further reports just go to one of us. No need to use the tubes. We'll just camp out here.
Okay.
I think Bias isn't. Oops, sorry.
There's a head and a place to get some food and a bath downstairs. Yeah. This is set up like an old castle. Yeah. Great. Let us know.
Draft grabs a notepad and writes down something and hands it to Lewitt.
Yeah.
And then says, looks at Maya and says, I'll be right back. I'm going to show him around. And one of the things that the note is very simple. It's basically like a takeout order. He's going to send Lewitt off to the Mustang to go pick up some good Severosi grub and make sure to bring it back. Because Drav relates to people. So he wants to make sure that he knows the names of the messengers just super casually, so that when he hands over messages, he keeps track of who gets what.
Nice.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Because we're playing for all the chips now. So, yeah. Shouldn't take more than like 5-10 minutes. I don't, unless Maya has something.
Not particularly, no. She probably quips at the Imperial gods, although they're there. Like, I see you're making good friends with Lewitt and Severosi.
They say local city watch are always easy to get going.
Don't I know it?
They take their jobs a little seriously.
They do. You come into the city often, or is this a privilege of a sort of once-off experience?
No, we don't come here at all. This is our first time. Anything we should make sure to check out?
The stables. Sorry.
Yes. Well, there are a couple of spots or two I could direct you to get a good Severosi meal or so. Do you manage to make it onto the, outside of the city?
We probably won't leave the fence. It'll probably be too difficult to get out.
Well, I find this place is kind of like a sponge if you need to find a hole or two to squeeze out. It's not entirely impossible.
Yeah, if you know if you know a way to get under the fence, we'd love to hear about it.
Well, if I hear anything, I'll let you know. I, of course, haven't got up for some time, but it's nothing quite like the wind of the Deathlands in your face and the eerie howl of ghostly entities on the plains. But I digress. So paperwork.
Judd, should we make some rolls? Do we go through the papers and just sort names into a pile? What's the play here?
What exactly are you looking for, I guess, is the question.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, an Imperial assassin who is deployed to go and basically create a red herring. I'm trying to figure out who could have possibly done it if it wasn't done by the governor, right? I mean, obviously there are people in the Emperor's not wrong. There is a number of hands that go between the governor and whatever, but is the governor's signature on this? Is it authentic? Was it forged? Can we look at that? If it's forged, how many people are in the chain? Can we track them down?
Cool. Yeah.
Good thinking.
I mean, clues, right? Like, I don't know what else. Like you read through it. I'm not...
No. I know. I'm trying to. I just want to get a vibe. It was good. That's great stuff. So you get you look over the paperwork, and it takes you like a little bit of time to like figure out what the administrative flow of an assassin is, and what you get is they literally send him a tube with either a place to meet someone to describe the mission or the mission itself, and then he has like a return piece of, and then like he burns that whatever's in there, but he has like a return slip that he gives after the mission, and it says like, mission done or mission, and it's like a checkbox, literally. Like they make it as easy as humanly possible for this person to do this, and he checks done or not done or complicated, and then like sends it back.
It's like bad Facebook relationship statuses.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I don't even think there's a complicated. I think they keep it totally binary for this person. It's either done or it is not done.
I love the like other with like a box underneath to explain this.
Yeah. I think. Matter of fact, you see the paperwork change. About 5 years ago, the other box was taken off, and it just went from yes or no. And when it was a no, someone would go and talk to them. The handler would go in and be like, "What the fuck happened?" And then they get it. But like, yeah, they took like you watch the paperwork evolve and change, and like literally the other box is taken off. So make some kind of roll. What are you going to use to find this clue?
Observe, Maya.
Yeah, I could go ahead and do the thing.
Cool. I think it's controlled great.
Okay. I have 4 dice. So I'm just gonna throw down 4 dice.
Hang on, I gotta see where we're at in terms of my stress. I was gonna potentially assist. I'm clear on stress. That's good.
So I roll an extra D for an assist.
Yeah, do it. Of course,
Okay.
I am helping you investigate.
Oh, a 2.
No,
So,
that's okay.
All good. It's a 5.
5 is okay. 5 is okay. On a controlled, it means that we probably find something or end up in a risky position, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best position.
Cool.
Sorry, somebody in chat says yes, no. It's spirit bullshit. Which is the most Blades condition ever. It's so true.
Amazing.
That is really amazing. Cool. I'm going to offer a now. So I'm going to say it's like you see the flow. And you have the dates when these things happen. So you know when they happened. And there isn't trackable paperwork for his mission with Stavrul Kincaid. So it's missing. But I think the other piece of paper that you find, because like you really go over this with a fine-tooth comb, is like the number tracker on his pneumatic tube. And you're like, oh shit, all pneumatic tubes have a number tracker. And it's like, yeah, and his shows that he got one and it isn't tracked. Like there's one missing. Something is missing.
Great. Somebody either didn't file the paperwork or it got burnt. The only question is who gave the order to do that or who stashed the paperwork. In which case,
right.
We put our hats on, we put our shoes on, we go to the Lord Governor's palace, and we just start going down there like, where is name? Okay, on this date, what did you do? Did you see this paperwork? Okay, who told you to not put it into the file?
Awesome. Yeah,
let's do it.
That...
Run down the leads, right?
Yeah. It's the Lord Governor conveniently at the meeting with the founding families.
Perfect. The Lord Governor is out of the office. No one's going to give us BS. I make sure that we have our appropriate, very scary Imperial seal with us, and let's...
So you're on your way out, and you see your mother talking to the front gate guard.
Not my mother.
Drav's mother, Ma Aran, the apothecary.
Drav blanches? I was very, 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 very careful to not mention that I had a daughter. So the fact that my mother shows up, I'm just like, oh no, you should not be here. Nobody should know who you are. Like, oh, this is the worst idea ever. And I'm like, sorry, Maya. And I'm like, I peel off and like my heart is like pounding twice as fast as it should. So yeah, I go to see what's going on with my mom.
He's talking to former Chief Grell, now Gate Sergeant Grell, and she says, Drav, I'm sorry to interrupt you at work.
What's
I
going
wanted
on?
to talk to you.
Why are you here? Like I'm already like grabbing her and saying like I got this, and I am leading her out of sight of the tower as fast as I can. But I'm like,
yeah,
you've never come to my job before.
Imperial soldiers just went into your daughter's house. There was some kind of a fight there. They
Then there's
They
a lot
grabbed-
of dead Imperial soldiers. I am...
They grabbed a maid and arrested her.
I hate you, Judd. Also hard. Maya, you're on your own.
Oh,
Amazing.
snap.
Amazing. Entered their split seed.
Yep.
Cool.
Good luck.
Can we? So we're about an hour into this. Can we
Okay,
take a
break?
Can we take our break?
Yeah, let's
and
do
then
Yeah,
we'll start
sounds
with this?
good.
All right, folks, we will be back soon. Let me actually, I was not 100% ready for this. I was not ready for this. Oh, this is 2 weeks. Oh man, I was so not prepared today. All right, here we go. Yes, all right. We will hopefully see you here momentarily. Stick around. More exciting stuff to show up.
Yay.